Alright, what's going on, guys? Boy TG, welcome back to another video. So in this video, we are going to take a look at some of the top 10 moments from the 2023-2024 NHL season. Before I get right into that, I just want to thank you guys for 400 subscribers. We finally reached the goal. We got 400 subscribers. This channel keeps growing and growing and growing and growing, and I just want to thank you guys for that. I really do appreciate each and every one of you. Let's try and get to 500 subscribers by the end of the year, maybe. Possibly. Maybe we could set that for another goal, 500 subscribers at the end of the year, but we already made our goal, which is get 400 subscribers, so maybe 500 subscribers by the end of the year. Who knows? But yeah, I just want to thank you guys for 400 subscribers, which is one of the reasons why I'm making this video, just to thank you guys for 400 subscribers. Like I said, I really do appreciate each and every one of you for subscribing to the TG Hockey channel. Without further ado, we're going to get right into it. So we're going to rank these top 10 things from least to greatest. From like least to greatest. Like, that's how we're going to do it. So in my number 10, we got the Arizona Coyotes final game at Moeller Arena. Now, I do feel so bad for the Arizona Coyotes. They're going to be moving. They're now called Utah Hockey Club. Corny name for an NHL team, by the way. If you listen to my podcast, Hockey Talk with TG, you'll know that I said repeatedly or consecutively that is a corny name for an NHL team because it just doesn't sound right. Like, why would you call it Utah Hockey Club? Like, is it too hard to find a name? So, it's too corny for an NHL team because no professional sports teams, not in the NBA, not in the NFL, not in the MLB, or NHL until now, there has been no professional sports team called so-and-so Hockey Club. Or so-and-so club. So, yeah, no professional sports team has so-and-so club. Like, that just sounds too corny. Now, if it was a middle school or high school team, then yeah, it wouldn't sound too corny if it was a middle school or high school team, or possibly a college hockey team. But yeah, now called Utah Hockey Club. In their final game at Moeller Arena, I think they won 5-2 against the Edmonton Oilers, so they did cap it off with a win. Now, like I said, I do feel so sorry for the Coyotes. They're leaving Arizona to be in Utah after spending 20 plus years in the desert. Not really sure how long they've been in the desert in Arizona, to be honest, but I believe it's 20 plus years in Arizona. And now they're leaving to go to Utah, which P.S. my Chicago Blackhawks will face them on opening night. But yeah, it was great watching the Arizona Coyotes. I'm a Blackhawks fan, by the way, so I can't really say too much about the Coyotes, but it was great watching them. Especially when my Blackhawks went over there to take on them at games at Moeller Arena. And just in general, we actually faced the Coyotes in the 2012 Stanley Cup playoffs, in which the Arizona Coyotes won that series. And yeah, just seeing them leave Arizona after being there for so long, it just kind of made Coyotes fans feel like very upset. And I'm glad that they capped it off with a win 5-2 at Moeller Arena. So yeah, that's just in my top 10. So we're going to number 9. Sergei Bobrovsky behind the back save. So I think this was in game 2 of the first round in the 2024 Stanley Cup playoffs, where the Lightning had a 2-on-1, and Matt Dumba was coming in trying to make a shot on Sergei Bobrovsky, and then Sergei Bobrovsky somehow, some way turned around and still made a glove save. So that save was unreal. I think I saw Andre Vasilevsky did that. It wasn't a playoff game, though. I think this was a regular season game, and it was from a few years ago where they were facing the LA Kings, and I think he made a behind-the-back glove save, too. It's kind of similar to Sergei Bobrovsky's, but not quite. Not exactly how Sergei Bobrovsky did, but between that save and Andre Vasilevsky's save from a few years ago, he made I think Sergei Bobrovsky's was much better. Like, that was an unreal save in Game 2 of the first round of the Stanley Cup playoffs between the Florida Panthers and Tampa Bay Lightning. P.S. That was a great series as always. I mean, one of the things I love about Stanley Cup playoffs is the rivalries that happen, and Panthers Lightning going at it for the third time in the Stanley Cup playoffs. That was, like, unreal. The Lightning, of course, won the first two. The Panthers winning their first one ever against the Tampa Bay Lightning. It was like so unreal for Sergei Bobrovsky to make that unreal behind the back glove save. And the Panthers did win game 2, by the way. They won the series, and they won game 2. I think Carter Verhaeghe scored the overtime game-winning goal. But I don't know if we ever see a save like that again. I mean, these goalies these days, they've been making like crazy, unreal saves. Like I think a few years ago, Marc-Andre Fleury was on the Vegas Golden Knights, and I think they were facing Toronto Maple Leafs. And the puck almost went into the net. Marc-Andre Fleury turned around. He looked at it, and then he made a glove save, keeping the puck out. So you never know what goalies can do these days. It's just unreal to like watch them do what they do. I never played a goalie in hockey before in my life. I always played right wing position, but these goalies, they can create something crafty. So yeah. Number 8 is the Nashville Predators 16-game winning streak. I know some of you may be like, why do you have this in your top 10? Or like, I don't get why you had this in your top 10. And you may be right. This shouldn't be in my top 10. But with the way that the Predators, I think the Predators started off kind of bad at the start of the season. Like, they weren't doing as good. But then they went on a 16-game winning streak, and they got bounced in the first round by the Vancouver Canucks. But with the way that they're heading to next season, adding Steven Stamkos, Jonathan Marchessault, Brady Shea, and other players that they added in free agency, I think this should be a stacked team to watch. At least the top 2 forward lines should be great to watch with Steven Stamkos and Jonathan Marchessault on the team now. And I believe that this team could be a playoff team. Next year, they probably won't have a deep playoff run just like they did this year. But that team's going to be lots of fun to watch coming this hockey season. I can't wait to see how Steven Stamkos does against his former team when he returns to Tampa to take on the Tampa Bay Lightning. I don't know what day will that be on, but that will be lots of fun to watch. So that's why I have the Predators 16-game winning streak in my top 10, because I feel like they had a strong start through midway or at the end of the season. And going into free agency, they just got like even better. So that's why that's in my top 10. Number 7, we had the 2024 Conference Finals. So the Conference Finals this year was really entertaining. It was the Dallas Stars taking on the Edmonton Oilers, Florida Panthers taking on the New York Rangers. I thought the Stars would face the Panthers in the Stanley Cup Final. Of course, we didn't get that matchup. We got Oilers and Panthers. But for the Western Conference Finals, it was the Dallas Stars' death over the Oilers superstars. And most of us, unless you were an Oilers fan or you just thought the Oilers were going to win that series, which they did, we had the Dallas Stars winning. Like, I didn't think the Oilers could get it done, despite their Cinderella playoff run up to that point. I thought Dallas was like way stacked. They were the better team. They got the depth. They got Jake Ottinger in there. I thought they were going to get it done against the Oilers, but they didn't. And as for the Panthers and Rangers, I did choose the Rangers to win over the Panthers, not going to lie, on my playoff bracket. I don't know why, though, because the Panthers were far by the better team than the Rangers. And I'm not just saying that just because they beat them. I'm saying that because it was actually true. So when I had chose New York over Florida, I'm like hitting my head up against the wall. And I'm like, why did I choose this team over the Florida Panthers? I had a little bit of regret. And somehow in my head, I knew the Panthers were going to win that series anyway. So, yeah. But yeah, it was really entertaining nonetheless. It played out the same way. The Oilers beat the Stars in 6. And the Panthers beat the Rangers in 6. And both the Oilers and the Panthers won the first game of the series. And then the Rangers and Stars tied it up, and then they led 2-1. And then Oilers Panthers tied the series up, and then Oilers Panthers take the 3-2 series lead, and then they win 4-2. So it played out the same way, which I wasn't really going to expect that, but hey, you got to expect the unexpected, and it was just yeah, like really good. I don't know what else I could say about that. Number 6, I have Connor Bedard taking home the Calder Trophy. You guys know I'm a Blackhawks fan, so that's got to be in my top 10, if not top 5. So Connor Bedard taking home the Calder Trophy. He has 61 points, 68 games played this year. So 22 goals, 39 assists, 61 points, 68 games played. I hate that he had to miss the All-Star game because of that broken jaw when the Blackhawks are taking on the Devils. I think this was in January. The All-Star was in February, but it wasn't like actually close to the All-Star game. So he had to miss that. He technically did show up in the All-Star game, but that was to participate in the skills competition. He didn't actually play in the All-Star game, but it would have been fun to watch him play in the All-Star game this year. But yeah, he had an incredible year. His NHL debut against Sidney Crosby was like even fun to watch. That was like back in October, of course, and I can't wait to see what Macklin Celebrini does for the San Jose Sharks. I can't wait to see us take on the Sharks. Bedard versus Celebrini. That'll be fun to watch. But yeah, Connor Bedard had a great first year. He's going to have a better career with the Chicago Blackhawks. These next few years should be really entertaining watching Connor Bedard, and I can't wait for the upcoming season for the Blackhawks. We went all out in free agency. We got Alex Martinez. We got Tyler Bertuzzi. We got Pat Maroon. And a few other players I cannot name right now. But yeah, Kyle Davidson went all out for us. And I can't wait to see what Connor Bedard and the Blackhawks do this upcoming season. And I can't wait for the Winter Classic at Wrigley Field, which is the Chicago Cubs Stadium. And we're going to be taking on our arch rival, St. Louis Blues. That's going to be fun to watch. So, yeah, that's why I have Connor Bedard, number 6. Great player. Had a great year. And I can't wait to see what he does come this season. And in the Winter Classic, playing his first Winter Classic game. Okay, speaking of the Winter Classic, that's what I have in my top 5. So the 2024 NHL Winter Classic featured the Vegas Golden Knights and Seattle Kraken. Both of these haven't been in the NHL too long. Both of these teams haven't been in the NHL for too long. The Golden Knights been in the NHL for, they started in 2017, so it's been 7 years that they've been in the NHL. And the Seattle Kraken, they started in 2021, so 3 years in the NHL so far for the Seattle Kraken. So it hasn't been that long. And it was nice watching these two expansion teams go at it in their first ever Winter Classic. I know the Golden Knights had an outdoor game like 3 years ago at Lake Tahoe. They took on the Colorado Avalanche, but that's not a Winter Classic game, so I really wouldn't count that one, despite it being outdoors. It was just fun to watch these two teams go at it. They were playing at the Seattle Mariners Stadium, and who was the Kraken's goalie? Jacob DeCourt. Yeah, he had a 3-0 shutout. He had a shutout win over the Vegas Golden Knights, so 3-0 shutout win for the Seattle Kraken against the Vegas Golden Knights. Would have been cool to see these two teams match up in the playoffs, but that hasn't happened yet. But if it does happen, I can't wait for that because that's going to be really entertaining to watch. Okay, so now, where are we? Okay, so number 3. Hopefully I didn't mix myself up because I kind of got confused right there. Kind of got confused where I was at. But anyway, number 3, Connor McDavid's 2024 Stanley Cup playoff run. So Connor McDavid took home the Conn Smythe Trophy this year. Lots of people thought that Sergei Bobrovsky should have won it or Matthew Tkachuk, but mostly they thought Sergei Bobrovsky should have won the Conn Smythe Trophy. And I'm actually glad it went to Connor McDavid because Connor McDavid was putting up some big numbers in the playoffs. Like, big numbers. Like, kind of being in that Wayne Gretzky mode era. So he absolutely deserved to win the Conn Smythe Trophy. I think it was a no-brainer that he won it. He was setting records in the playoffs, like surpassing Wayne Gretzky's records. I don't know if Gary Bettman said that when the Panthers won the Cup. But it was absolutely deserving, well-deserved that Connor McDavid took home the Conn Smythe Trophy. I know lots of other people didn't like it, but hey, you got to face the facts. I mean, like up until Game 3, the Stanley Cup Final, like games 4 through 6, even though the Panthers did win the cup, Sergei Bobrovsky kind of slumped a little bit, kind of went downhill. Didn't have that great start at that span, like losing games 4 through 6. I know that they won the cup, but it was just, it couldn't have gone to Sergei Bobrovsky. Like I knew he was one of like top 3, top 5 odds to win the Conn Smythe Trophy, but it went to Connor McDavid. Like I said, very well deserved. He only had 8 goals in the playoffs, which is kind of a little bit awkward because, you know, Connor McDavid, like, well, he's a playmaker, so I'm kind of not surprised, and then I am surprised, and I'm kind of not surprised, but he is a playmaker. He has 8 goals, 34 assists, 42 points in the playoffs, but he had an unreal playoff run, and so did the Edmonton Oilers themselves. The Oilers could possibly be back in the Stanley Cup Final next season. We'll just have to see. But it would have been unreal if the Oilers would have won the cup after being down 3-0 in the series and after having a bad start to the year and all that other stuff. But they still had an unreal run. I mean, I give it to them. I give it to the Oilers. Like, they had an unreal playoff run. Anyway, number 2, we got the Florida Panthers winning the Stanley Cup. So after losing in the Stanley Cup Final last year to the Vegas Golden Knights, the Florida Panthers win the Stanley Cup this year. Sam Reinhart scored the game-winning goal in the Stanley Cup Finals. So Game 7 Stanley Cup Finals, he scored the game-winning goal. Final score was 2-1. Oilers did what they can to tie the game up during the final minutes. They couldn't get the puck past Sergei Bobrovsky. And then final few seconds, Panthers held the puck in the corner. Oilers couldn't dig it out. And Panthers just started celebrating winning the Stanley Cup. This is their first Stanley Cup in franchise history. They have made the finals 3 times. The first one being in 1996, where they got swept by Joe Sakic and the Colorado Avalanche. And then last year, where they lost in 5 to the Vegas Golden Knights. Then this year, they win the Stanley Cup. So, added some hardware for Florida, I see. But yeah, that's in my top 2. My top 1 is Patrick Kane's return to Chicago. This may be me being a little bit biased, but come on. I'm a Blackhawks fan. You guys know I was going to choose this. It was an unreal night in the Chi-Town at the United Center. Chris Chelios, number 7, getting retired. Of course, Chris Chelios is also from Chicago. And his number 7 got retired up in the Raptors. One of the best Blackhawks players to ever play for the Blackhawks. And Patrick Kane returned that night. It was Red Wings and Blackhawks going at each other. Of course, Patrick Kane was on the Red Wings. They played a nice little tribute for him, which I kind of got emotional because he was my favorite player growing up. He's one of the reasons why I became a Blackhawks fan. And I also watched him, whether it was on TV or actually going to the Blackhawks games myself and seeing him in person. But yeah. Got a little bit emotional right there. He capped it off with the game-winning goal, scored in overtime. As a Blackhawks fan, I didn't get too upset because, come on, this is Patrick Kane. This is Showtime you're talking about. Spent 16 seasons with the Chicago Blackhawks, won 3 Stanley Cups with the Blackhawks, winning the Conn Smythe Trophy in 2013 for MVP of the Stanley Cup playoffs, and he scored the Stanley Cup game-winning goal in 2010 when we were facing the Philadelphia Flyers. So he did everything he could with the Chicago Blackhawks, and I'm really happy to watch those 16 years, or 16 seasons, I should say, that he played for the Blackhawks. I kind of do miss him on the team. I wish he could have helped Connor Bedard out, but hey, it was told that he wasn't going to come back to the Blackhawks, and that's that. So that's why I have him. That's why I had this moment in my number 1, because, like I said, unreal night. Chris Chelios, number 7, getting retired. It was Red Wings and Blackhawks. Fun fact, Chris Chelios did play for both of these teams. He played for the Detroit Red Wings, and he played for the Chicago Blackhawks. Of course, he won Stanley Cups with the Detroit Red Wings. And fortunately, he didn't win any with the Blackhawks. But hey, yeah, it was just a great night all around. And I really enjoyed it. Anyway, guys, that is going to do it for this video. And like I said, thank you guys for 400 subscribers once again. I can't wait for this upcoming NHL season. Let's go, Hawks! We finally loaded up. Kyle Davidson loaded up for us. We're going to be playing Utah Hockey Club on opening night, so I can't wait for that. And I can't wait for the 2024-2025 NHL season in general. It's going to be a great season, as always. Can't wait to see my Chicago Blackhawks back in action again. In the meantime, I'm just watching Chicago Cubs and Chicago White Sox go at it. Not really too much into baseball, but every now and then I might watch a game or two. But yeah. Anyway, if you enjoyed the video, hit it with a like, hit it with the subscribe button. I'm going to try and get to 500 subscribers by the end of the year, if that's possible. But anyway, I will see you guys next time.